Hello, good morning, Daniel, and good morning to the team. It's always good to be here, and we always want to extend our greetings to the people of Liberia. It's good that we are back, and good to see the team holding on, doing the people's job. They asked me to go on cap. Okay, thank you.
Great, thank you for coming. Will you be on commentary tomorrow?
Well, the head of the commentary team have already said he's going to
Off camera.
Margot, I'm sure we would love to lead the team as usual, but we'll be available. We always want to do that. That's something I enjoy doing, actually. So I hope I will be of service, if not to ELBC, to one of the online. I will try to see how we can provide service. Again, the game is tomorrow. I see the build-up. It's coming the right time. The president is due in country today, and the new coach, first game. So we are all excited to go to the field tomorrow.
Certainly, thank you for coming. Now let's get to the issue, and we'll talk about most of this conversation. Let me say, for the benefit of the public, we'll focus directly on the president's trip to Japan. Let's talk about the trip. Was it an invite to the president?
Yes, an official invite to the president. Not just to His Excellency Dr. George Manuel Weah, but to African presidents.
Okay.
TICA is Japan's own way of wanting to know the challenges confronting Africa and African leaders. And so the African Union, the UNDP, and Japan are the key organizers. Japan is the host of the conference. So this just held edition was the 7th edition of TICAT 7. And so President Weah form a part of the African leaders that attended that assembly there in Yokohama. And so it was official owing to the fact that the leaders of Africa turned out in the numbers, over 40, 46, 45 of them. Even though that the official program, about 16 or 17 of them were opportune to present their case to Japan, the UNDP, and to the African Union. So, yes, a wonderful occasion, far travel, but I'm sure we've returned with a lot.
So let's get into the last part of your comments that says we return with a lot. What have we returned with? The president made an official statement as part of the protocol for the ceremony, but specifically for Liberia as a country. Where are we? I've been reading and following the executive mansion website talking about bilateral ties, cementing relationships. What's in the bag?
Well, I think it's been a lot since the team went to Japan. So the president did not go to Japan alone. He went with a crack team, a team of technicians.
Well, how many presidents were on that trip?
10 president official team.
Okay.
And so that includes the Minister of Public Works, works, road rehabilitation, road construction in our country is a challenge. And so the president took along with him the Minister of Public Works. The Japanese been doing some work. They are still working on Somalia Drive road. They're doing the second phase of that road. I will tell you the detail as to what they intend to do as per the completion of the entire Somalia Drive and the change of name upon completion. And so the Minister of Commerce, for example, was also there. Minister Wilson Tape, he was also very instrumental, looking for Liberia and Japan relationship in commerce and industry. He was part of the president team. We are challenged with health situation in our country. The health sector is stayed on a very big challenge. So the Minister of Health and Social Welfare was the Minister of Health was also there. She was also looking for that sort of a discussion that would lead Liberia getting some support from the Japanese government. Also on the president travel was the Minister of Transport. He also has a very good discussion trying to see how our transport sector can benefit with Japan being very upbeat about what they are involved with right now. With the new technology coming up every day. So the Minister of Transport was also there. The Minister of Information, ICT, this technology is fast moving. around the world. You can just hold the world in your palm right now and get on top of it. So Minister Len Eugene Nangbe was also holding discussions at different meetings at different point in time with our Japanese counterpart in making sure that Liberia State Radio, Ministry of Information, and other outlets in government information dissemination can get some support. So that went very well at different point in time. And of course, the president had the opportunity to speak at the opening forum, the opening section of the summit, which is presented Liberia case. But at the bilateral meeting where the president met the president of Japan one-on-one, that details what Liberia actually wanted from Japan.
So, talking about that, what are some of the details concerning what we actually, Liberia particularly?
Well, I think the president case to his Japanese counterpart, the prime minister. First, he congratulated him for the support that Japan has rendered Liberia and continue to render Liberia, and he's also been very thankful to Japan. The Japanese government is funding the Omega navigation market that the president talked about, that international market. So the president again reassure his Japanese counterpart that that project is coming online. We can assure you now that the final materials for that project is already in country. That will speed up the Liberia Agency for Community Empowerment list work to complete that international market at the Omega site. The president was also looking for funding for a new market centered around the Douala market. They're trying to reform that place and put another international market there. Some 4 million plus. The Liberia Agency for Community Empowerment, Liz, is the head of that project. Japan has committed making sure that that project come online, and so that was part of the discussions around the table. The president made specific requests based on the completion of the Somalia Drive. If you look at the stretch of road between the Gabriel Tucker Bridge going as far as St. Paul Bridge, that entire stretch is now deplorable. So if the Japanese succeed in doing the road on the Somalia Drive and the road from the Gabriel Tucker Bridge to the St. Paul Bridge is in a bad state, the president made a specific request to his Japanese counterpart to consider doing that road. Was there any commitment? Which of course they accepted. And so upon the completion of the Somalia Drive, we're going to see another road work taking place between the Gabriel Tucker Bridge and the St. Paul Bridge. That road is in a bad shape right now. The Minister of Public Works will return to the country. He will give details as to how that project and when it will get off the ground. But those were specific, discussion that came around the president bilateral talks with his Japanese prime minister.
You talk about the name changing, and that is what you talk about.
The Somalia
Drive road.
Yes, so upon the completion of the Somalia Drive road, the president have suggested, I'm sure again it's going to come to national discussion, that the name Somalia Drive, that highway, the stretch of road will be changed to the Japan Highway, and so that to appreciate the people of Japan for the taxpayer money is coming to our country and giving us good roads. So in appreciation and appreciating their effort, the Somalia Drive road upon completion. That is upon completion. So if the both side and giving it the kind of structure that we hope to see at the end of the day, there will be a change of name, a proposed change of name to the Japan Highway.
Okay, that's great. You're listening to the Super Morning Show, and the Deputy Presidential Press Secretary, Smith Toby, is our guest in studio. Coming back to this issue of, you said you want to provide more details about the Somalia Drive road, with the exception of the name. What additional information about the road in terms of completion?
Well, I think Japan stands committed in making sure that they can be a help to Liberia in several ways. A challenged country, of course, that is looking for friends and partners out there to help. So besides the road, for example, they are interested in the fisheries industry. The head of the fishery, Emma Mekti Glasgow, was also in Japan. She was knocking doors, making sure that Japanese made some commitment.
Okay.
They will help the local industry with Notora's Yamaha or engine. That discussion was sealed up, and those sectors, ministers, and agency heads that travel with the president will also have some time. I hope they will make use of all of the time to give the details as to what have come out of Japan. But on the overall, with all of the bilaterals discussion and visit with other African leaders and discussing issues about their economy and talking about how they can be a part of a growing world, a developing world that is fast moving with technology. And that's why the entire conference was centered around technology and how Africa can benefit. And I'm sure that our country, Liberia, took a very good advantage of the conference, because those individuals who travel with the president did not sit back in their hotel rooms. They were in all of the sections, and the president was also engaged in a series of meetings, not just with the prime minister, but he was also discussing with business people who are interested in coming to Liberia to see the level of investment opportunities here. And that's what the president will love to see, open more engagement out there, so that people can rather get more interested in coming and looking into the various sectors and see how they can revamp those sectors.
I listened to the president during his address speaking passionately about Liberia utilizing technology. And so coming back to the country upon such a statement going forward, what do we hope to see happening, especially in technology?
Well, there's a lot that we hope to see happen. The Minister of Information, who attended those basic meetings, seeing how Liberia can tap into Japan in terms of technology, could provide us some more information as to it. But the entire conference was about Liberia diving into the theme of the conference that had to do with Africa learning or developing or trying to learn from Japan how they are speeding up their technology. The good news is that the Ministry of Youth and Sport, even though the minister did not travel, there is a plan to do a new sports stadium here by the Japanese. We will detail that as soon as we can get hold of the entire discussion. But we are privileged to know that the Japanese are contemplating to do another sports stadium here. They are also contemplating in youth empowerment, which is very key to the sector. Our youthful population is now being challenged, and so the president is also thinking about looking for opportunities to see that people out there can come and build up our youth capacity in various forms. So yes, the issue of technology will be very vital to us, and the president and his team look forward to the Japanese coming here sometime very soon, like they've always done, and buttress Liberia RCT capacity.
Very interesting coming out of the trip to Yokohama. Another thing is, you talk about several others who were on the trip and talk about how some of them were coming deep.
Key to the commerce sector, where I saw Professor Wilson Tape. Japan is 9 hours ahead of Liberia, so early morning runs from one conference center to another conference center. He was very engaging into all of the discussion as to see how our commerce, for example, can benefit. The Japanese market here looks very encouraging, and even though very expensive, but as a country and looking for partnership out there, there's a lot that we could learn from Japan as to how they've stabilized their commerce and industry. So the Minister of Commerce, Professor Wilson Tape, attended all of those meetings. There were discussions at different level with his counterpart in making sure that there's more interest with food security, for example, which of course is very key to us. So the minister, he has made some commitment. Those commitment in terms of cents and dollars. I'm sure when the president returned today, there will be more as to what exactly will come as a package out of Japan. We can beat around the summary of it, but Japan was very fruitful, it was very rewarding, and I'm sure the country returned with a lot, with all of the sectors that went along with the president, from health to transport to education. I slip on that, to education as well. They were all very, very happy to see how the entire conference turned out, and the way they presented the various institution challenges, and what the commitment from those discussions will be for the various institutions.
And to step back quickly, to specifically we're discussing the trip, but on tomorrow we understand the dialogue the president initiated, proposed. The dialogue conference will take place on tomorrow. We understand from the secretary that the president will be making a special statement at that dialogue. How crucial is this economic dialogue to generally the country and the president?
Well, like the president said, as of day one, since he took over the leadership of this country, the issue of the economy is not something to sleep about, and so he's been hardly concentrating on how to resuscitate the economy. It's been a very challenging time for our economy. There's a lot that seems to be going on the downside of the economy. It's good that the president talked about it, and key items to that sector pick up from where the president talked about how Jacob Jala, who's been working behind the scene, Samuel Jackson, and other experts who also been concerned about the country's economy. Finally, we got a dialogue coming up tomorrow. The president will be very key to be a part of the opening section. And like Jacob said, yes, the president will make comments. Again, presenting Liberia picture, because the economy is not a one-man situation. It's not a quick fix thing. We've seen it reach this stage, and it's time that we put all hands on decks. What has come from the presidency, the executive, individual Liberians out there, experts from other countries that are in country to help us. The bigger picture is people want to see this country economy wake up again, and to do that, there's nothing more better to talk about right now than the economy, and I'm sure that the dialogue on tomorrow has come at the very right time, that Liberians will be discussing their economy as to why we've reached this point and how to pick up from where it is, and get it going on a very good path. It's not political. It should be something that all Liberians should get involved, because when the country economy turns bad, it is not just for the poor people down the line. It affects every sector of the country. So the president is very happy that there's one coming up, and it starts on tomorrow for 3 days. And he's going to be a part of the opening section, return to the country today, prepare for that section on tomorrow. The president is also being concerned about all of the discussion around the harmonization of the salaries or allowance cut. The last time we spoke about it, he was actually opting to return to the country and to show that the Minister of Finance and Development Planning provide more information. The Liberian Senate, the House of Representatives, all need to get involved and discuss this issue from a nationalistic standpoint. And so there's a lot around it, but it's good that the president is back in the country sometime this afternoon, and we'll get to hear from the president on some of those key national issues.
Talking about key national issues, the issue with quote-unquote 3 days free call is an issue that is trending.
Was it really free call?
It wasn't really. That's why I said quote-unquote 3 days free call.
That was the nomenclature given.
It was the nomenclature given, but people were still, still had to put $1 to get it, so it wasn't free.
Yeah.
But it has been an issue in some quarters since, the GSM company started sending messages on Saturday around to people's phones, by directive of LTA, blah, blah, blah. Has this been of concern to the president? Even while in Japan, I know he's been in consultation with the Minister of State and others who were back.
Well,
Liberia?
everything that concern Liberia and Liberians concern the president. And so this discussion started long before this administration. You heard lawmakers talk about this during the time of former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Even though at this time it's coming to be actualized. But then let me borrow from Margot to call you Denny. But I think the way we put ourselves as a country, I've traveled, right, with my little experience to places I've gone. I'm not sure there's one country that I've gone to and you get free call, or you get 3 days, you activate and you unlimited calls. Even in the great United States of America, as people who travel to the US, if you get your satellite phone or your mobile phone, you subscribe for the month.
Yeah.
When your subscription ends, your phone goes off until you subscribe, that phone becomes useless. You don't receive call on the phone because you've gone on a subscription. So for promotional purposes, our GSM companies here thought to initiate a campaign, even though it was being paid for.
Yeah.
And our setting, yes, we accepted it, and everyone in every sector have benefited from it. Now the regulators have said we need to adjust the mood. So you pay $1, get 45 minutes, and go for 45 minutes for $1. Now it's become a subject of discussion. It's all what the national legislation is talking about it. The executive was also concerned about it. All Liberians are concerned about it. But it's an ongoing discussion. And now I know that the authority, the LTA, will keep talking to the players in the field. They will have to tell the people as to the benefit of this process. Is technical, it's policy driven, and what the country stands to benefit will also come at the end of the day. When changes come like this, it's not easy to accept, especially when people say, okay, we're harmonizing, and then there's another thing that the people down the line think that it's going to pinch them a little bit more. But it was never free. What have happened is been adjusted, and so I hear people say 3-day free call. You paid $1. You had 3 days.
You had to pay the $1.
So now you still paid $1. You got 45 minutes. Now I'm not sure it's affecting people data. I just got back. I just got back last night. I haven't done my subscription so far, so I will see all of the costs that will come along with it. But if it is in the interest of the Liberian people and the service provider and the government of Liberia think that is going to help the country, then we'll take it. But people who travel know that you don't have 3-day free calls or $1 for 3 days anywhere in the world. If promotions brought it to us and it's time to say goodbye to it and change the formula, we rather accept and move on, even though people don't take it in good faith. But such is the time.
Sure, but normally promotions are not endless. So you have to have time.
That should definitely be time.
Modify the adjusted. Upward or downward. Yeah, go ahead.
So we'll do injustice if we just not squeeze in this one before opening the phone lines, and then Daniel will come in.
Yeah.
The nation's pride and joy, the national team, the Red, White, and Blue Boys, will be battling their neighboring Sierra Leone counterpart on tomorrow, and we cannot overstate this because the president, coming from that background, I guess you've been following some details about preparations, why away, the LFA, the government appointed a new coach, and we have a task on tomorrow. What are the readings from the president? We want to say you'll be in town on today, and we'll be on the page tomorrow.
Well, it's always a privilege and a great opportunity every time the national team assemble Liberians, and people turn out from all political, social background. When that national anthem is being played at the Samuel Kayando Sports Complex, there's no opposition there. There's no party A or party B. You see Liberians, going in to cheer the national team, and the president is a lover of the game. He's coming back to the country today, like you rightly said. Even if the under 20 is playing or under 19, the president goes in and gave his support. So we are aware that he will do likewise to the national team on tomorrow. The team has struggled in the last few years.
Is the president disappointed? Then spending some money from a while full time, giving his support, the results are not forthcoming?
So let's see what will happen now. I'm sure the appointment of a new coach did not come out of the blue. There were consultations held.
Okay.
And so we got a new management team. Let's see what that new team will provide for the excitement of the Liberian people, the national team. The president hit defeat, and so he's not going to sit back on tomorrow and or days ahead of us and see our national team that he once played for and that he took around the world continue to struggle. Now we got a new management, a new coach for the national team. He's coming with a lot of experience, and his first assignment, home-based assignment tomorrow, is his first game here at home. The president will have some time to see his technical ability, and it is that all Liberians turn out and again support the national team. That is our only pride and joy. It cut across all sectors of our country, all religious background, and we are hoping that as of tomorrow we can see a new national team that will rekindle that belief of sportsmanship in our country.
Before we take calls, by Sunday, guests will start arriving in the country for the ECOWAS session in Liberia. And being a former member of the ECOWAS Parliament in President Weah, this is the first time, and it's coming under his administration, that ECOWAS is not just having a meeting or seminar or a conference here, but they're also going to be having the session here in Liberia. What does this mean for the country and for the level of the presidency?
Well, let me say again, thanks to the ECOWAS Parliament, and one man who's been working with this along with the president is over every man in Snow. Snow has put his entire life into this entire meeting that is coming to Liberia. He's been holding back and forth conversation with the president about this. That's one reason why he did not go with the president to Japan. He's always with the president. He's been very contributing to high discussion around the president. He's been very influential in making sure that ECOWAS parliamentarians will turn out here in their numbers. It's a boost for the country with all of the hardship that we talked about in our just ended July 26th celebration. The president brought some of his friends for the first time. He's traveled to places and interacted with them. Some Liberians didn't see it as confident building. Again, honor his watch. For the first time, the parliamentarians of the region will be here in the country. The president was once a member of that body. He'll be meeting some of his old friends, now in different position as a president, but he met them on separate occasions, functions we've attended. But coming to Liberia, again, it showed people of the world that we are peaceful, our environment is safe, for people to allow their parliamentarians to come here and discuss those issues. Filtering the parliaments in Africa means a lot. The president is upbeat about this. I'm sure he will be attending some of the sections, and it's coming at the right time. Kudos that we're having a venue at the ministerial complex. I'm told that's where it's going to be taking place. So I just want to say thanks to all of the organizers, and the president is just very happy to see it come to Liberia on his administration. And again, Honorable Snow has been working on this for a very, very, very long time. I remember when the last time we were in Abuja, we talked about this even before we took off for Japan, and he shared with me the idea behind this entire meeting, and kudos that is coming to Liberia, and the president will meet the parliamentarians. They will be meeting our Liberian parliamentarians. There's a lot of lot to learn, and we see parliamentarians in all parts of Africa, the arguments on the floor, the issues of discussion, the debate here and there. Now to have them assembled in one hall is something worth seeing.
Sure. All right. So for those of you who following now, you have questions. Our guest is the Deputy Presidential Press Secretary Smith Toby. 0776-089-713, 0776-089-713, or 0880-514-096, 0880-514-096, and be live on the program this morning here on the Super Morning Show. And put forth your comments and questions, and Mr. Toby will be willing and set to address them. All right. So let me see. Let me take it from my end here. Good morning.
Morning, Daniel Anka and Julius. Good morning to the information of Smith Toby. This is Emmanuel and Josiah for this thing. Absolutely, and personal us will have no doubt in Smith Toby. And basically, he has capable in the reality to us. And the president that we as Liberia were about to receive and witness and prepare. As the same have been the subjective to us, we want to say bravo to the excellent Dr. Joshman and the we appreciate and your honor and transferring this leadership. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Julia, you noticed the mail was straight to the point?
Yeah, straight to the point.
Before now, he'll be saying all kinds of political issues.
Let's see if we can have this call from this end in 0776-089-713. And let's have this caller from this end. Good morning.
Good morning, Daniel, and good morning to Mr. Smith Toby. This is Daniel Johnson from Habel. Let me appreciate Smith Toby for the information this morning. What we pray for our country is the settlement of our country. If the government will work in making sure that development and economic improvement come to our country, it is welcome. So we pray that all go well, and so that at the end of the day, we can see the sun shining in Liberia. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your participation, and let's see if we can have this caller as well. Good morning. Good morning. Too bad we lost that caller. 0776-089-713. Hello.
Good morning.
Your name, sir, and where you call from?
This is Daniel Bola, who I come from Tuguru.
Go ahead, Daniel.
I'd like to say thanks to our dear brother Toby in Julius, the information man. But there are another thing he touched on, and people always touch on it, but there's this thing that I don't really hear much about. So I'd like to know from his side of the story, from the president's office, what is his government doing concerning the drug law? Because if you look at it, a lot of our youth are falling, and this nation is blessed with the population of young people. So what is the measure the president's office putting into place to curtail the entire process of drug importation in this country? Thank you.
Thank you very much. We will take our final caller because of time. Good morning.
Hello.
Can you lower the music in your background, please?
Hello.
You are loud. Lower the music, man.
Good morning.
I'm sorry, I can't continue with you. You have to lower the music in the background. Don't start playing tomorrow. We are aware. Hello. Good morning.
Good morning.
Please lower the volume of your radio, please. Your name and where you call from.
Yes, sir. Are you getting me now?
Much better. Your name and where you call from.
Okay. I just want to appreciate the very outspoken and intelligent Toby without a threat. But there's a parable from our people that we try to speculate. They say when you get in the water, don't no longer be a set of cool. Those are surrounding this excellent president. They should do all they can in their power to bring all the noise to a silence. Because once the developments start coming, and being used for the intended purpose, things will be okay, and we want the government to go extra mile
today is our prayer. I want to say to him, thank you so much for the liberation, and let God be with him. We should not speak politics, we should speak Liberia. We should speak on behalf of our people. It's not a country, that people made up the country. So we say thank you for welcoming and coming back to tell the Liberians for your trade. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. God bless you. Let's squeeze in this last caller. Good morning.
Yeah.
Please lower the volume of the radio, please. Your name and where you call from.
Yeah. Sorry. I'm Johnson Yasman. I'm calling from Fish Cinco.
Go ahead, Johnson.
Kudos to you, Daniel, and kudos to your studio guest, Smith. Thanks for all you have said, and thanks to the government for putting in place to get Liberia. My attention has been drawn to the 3-day free course. He said that policy, according to Smith, he said that policy the government put into place that would help Liberia. But the 3-day free course, we the people, we benefited from it, but 10 years directly we benefited from it. Only loans that we pay taxes in return to the government, no taxes. After over a year, they have paid, they have paid constant taxes paid to government officials, they will benefit only. For the 3 days, we benefit and we the people. Those policies put in place, we will benefit. So the 3 days free, we benefited directly and we want to benefit directly. So
okay, thank you. Yeah, thank you, but he did not say, you please, people need to understand that Smith is not speaking particularly about the government but the president. This particular regulation is not coming from the president directly. He says it's a technical and policy related issue. I hope that was the exact word, but let's maybe listen to the callers.
Well, let me say thanks to all of the callers, and thanks to those who have been following our broadcast. What we always want to do and intend to do is to close the gap or made away with this speculation around president's travel, misinformation in the public. That's why we've made it our duty that every time the president travels or there's occasion of the president, we keep the public informed about it. And it's good that people are getting to understand the activities of the president, even in country, out of country, his engagement, the people he's talking to, his business discussion. I'm sure little by little people will now understand the facts and respect their president, because every time there's a travel of the president, there's a lot of information surrounding it. Even while we were in Japan, it was being rumored here that the president was playing football. I saw some posts on the social media, and that's some Liberians' way of contributing to the country. But we want to inform the Liberian people that this president is very focused. He's very determined about the country, what affect one Liberian, also affect the president, what it is about the current discussion around the GSM company, the LTA. Those are technical policy issues. Those discussions can be talked about. The president returned on today, and so when Liberians feel hurt, the president equally feel hurt. And so when the discussion around those issues that Liberians are talking about will continue to be a discussion around the table. The issue of the salary harmonization that is ongoing, the national legislature, the executive, and all players responsible for that are still holding discussions about it. The Minister of Finance has been explaining to the Liberian people the details as to why we are at this point, and so the president is also concerned about it. The president is not sitting back and allow things to go the way some Liberians on the other side of the opposition think, but we can show the people of Liberia that the president will not disappoint the Liberian people. He's working in the sole interest of developing this country and improving the lives of the Liberian people. So those technical issues, those policy issues can be a discussion ongoing for some time, but we are sure that we will cross this bridge very soon. We are also very sure that the president returned from Japan, and his travel to Japan will yield a lot of good fruit for roads, for health, for education, and for technology, and a lot more. And so we want to say thanks to all of you for the time, and thanks to the team here at ELBC for allowing us to be on their platform. This is our first outing since we returned last night. We hope we can do more of this on other media outlets, but state radio is our priority. So we talk here first and move on to other places. So I'd like to say thanks to you and all of you joining us here today. It's always my pleasure. Thanks for the time.
Thank you so much. That's Deputy Presidential Press Secretary Smith Toby wrapping up us on the envelope of the trip to Japan. This is the Super Morning Show. Shortly we wrap up with this.